Mom, I have poop.
We're mildly thriving. We're two exhausted moms try to make sense of this wild ride called raising neurodivergent kids.
We're not doctors and we're not therapists. And you probably shouldn't take our advice. We cuss like sailors and drink like pirates.
Just think of us as your inappropriately funny and brutally honest support group.
So grab a drink, lower your expectations.
Because the truth is, we need this. And we're going to keep doing this whether you're here or not.
We just hope you join us. Hi, everybody. I'm Sadie.
Wait, can we? I just did this, right?
Well, I went like this. Hi, everybody. I'm Sadie.
And I'm Morgan.
And we are Mildly Thriving.
What are we drinking today?
Glitter espresso martinis.
What made them glitter?
The simple syrup. Glitter simple syrup.
Literally, you can buy that from a store.
Yep, I got it for a birthday present.
All right. Well, cheers.
Cheers.
To another Mildly Thriving episode.
I know.
Ooh, that's good.
Little kick in our steps this morning.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, we are going to drink espresso martinis and talk about our diagnosis stories, which we feel like need to be their own episode for each of us.
Oh, and also we decided to switch Mom Guilt Bingo and #WeirdWin because a friend pointed out, so obviously we need to end on the high note. And then by starting with Mom Guilt Bingo, we'll have time to kind of unpack it a little bit.
Yes, which I love that idea.
Yes.
So hopefully you guys do too.
Yes. Okay, so let's get into Mom Guilt Bingo.
Get your bingo cards out because it's time for Mom Guilt Bingo.
Yay!
Okay, mine makes me feel like a bad human and don't no one hate me. My sweet son had long hair to his shoulders, and he's 8. He doesn't know how to fully brush it all the way. He doesn't want to wear it in a man bun, so he's always sweating it to his head. And he hasn't cut it in about 2 years, I think. And then I was just like, man, he really needs a haircut. He's always so sweaty. And I'm like, no one bug him about it. Let him keep his long hair. And then it's just becoming a rat's nest and a mess. And so I was like, you know what? I love you. We should give you this really cool haircut. And in a moment of weakness, I think he just said yes and didn't think it through. So then the next morning I text Morgan and I was like, can we come over today? Can you cut Miles' hair? And we cut it and he decently likes it, but I feel really guilty that.
Do you?
I feel guilty that I didn't give him like a week. I just was like,
oh.
I feel like I took advantage of him in a moment of weakness for his hair.
Oh.
And so I've been feeling really guilty about it.
Oh.
And he looks handsome and he's so
He
cute.
does.
But I feel really guilty that I kind of pushed him into the haircut after I was yelling at everyone in his life to not say a thing about his hair.
I'll tell you, when he came over yesterday, I was like, buddy, what'd your friend say about your haircut? And he goes, one person said I look like a TKer, but that was it. And I was like, dude, that doesn't even make sense.
I told him to like, can you have some mean face? We can't ever change that. That was not my finest moment. I was pissed. I was like, what'd someone say to you?
Well, I was like, did you tell him? That doesn't even make sense.
Right.
What a silly thing to even say.
Look like a TKer.
Yeah.
I'm like, he looks so old.
But he
and
wasn't,
handsome.
he didn't seem like shaken,
distraught or anything.
Yeah.
So that's my guilt. I feel like I pressured him into like a big change without giving him adequate time.
Okay. I'm sure that's somewhere on a bingo card for someone. I know this one is. My Mom Guilt Bingo, I have not been taking care of myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm doing decent at not letting it affect my patience much, but I'm just not like doing my walks and eating like I was. I don't like the word should. I try to not really use the word should. But I can just tell I'm like sluggish and I don't have the energy for my kids that I wish I did.
That you want to have.
Yeah. So that's my Mom Guilt Bingo.
I'll put that on my card this week too.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So do you want to get into?
Yeah. I don't really know where to start or where this is going to go exactly, but I guess we're just going to take one more sip and get right into
Should we start with the boys?
Oh, yeah. Because I forgot. They both have little diagnosis stories.
Yeah.
So Miles, my sweet little boy, he is pretty pretty ADHD. That's all I really need to say about it. He has extreme anxiety to the point where I used to just be like, oh, he'll probably just grow out of this. He's just a rowdy little boy. But then it got to the point where he is struggling in school. And he came home one day and he was like, I couldn't do my test. I was like, why couldn't you do your test? And he was like, the door. It kept opening and closing. Swish, 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 swish. I was like, I think we're going to go to the doctor. And I think we're like, you definitely have some ADHD and stuff going on. So then he was diagnosed. We did like the take home tests and all that. And then she was like, oh yeah, and extreme anxiety, which I think a lot of that anxiety is from being a special needs older brother, most likely. So yeah, Miles has ADHD and severe anxiety, little tiny boy. So yeah, he was very easy also to get that stuff done.
Well, let's talk what supports you have in place just for him
So
real quick.
for him at school, he had an IEP anyways for like speech and language. But now there's stuff like he doesn't have to do time tests because he will totally like shut down. So that's on there. He gets pulled into small groups 4 days a week for English and math. So he can work in a smaller, quieter setting, which super helps him. So that has been huge. Not much changed with the ADHD diagnosis because we already had the speech IEP. But once we got like the official diagnosis for the ADHD, they were like, oh, so let's take a like time test because we do see him always shut down over that. And he used to kind of shut down and cry at his desk like silently. And so the whole timed thing has been like a massive, that's just been a major help for him at school. But so that's what he does.
Do you think we can talk about how the boys feel? Like, how does Miles feel about his ADHD diagnosis?
I see. At first, I don't think he thought anything of it at all. But now he's very like, he's almost timid and shy, like in a way, self-conscious. He's very self-conscious. And so sometimes he comes home from school and he's like, I don't want to go to school. We're doing this thing on the computer that I hate. And I just feel really stupid that I can't do this. And I feel stupid. It's what he always says. I feel stupid that I can't focus on this. I feel stupid that I'm learning this slow. So that's new. And that's hard to see because he's so happy and awesome. And that makes me super sad. And then he understands his anxiety and stuff, but I don't know. You know him. He's just pretty like go with the flow and kind of just like, he doesn't really talk about it.
Well, I have ADHD. So if you ever think it'd be helpful for him to
talk to you about it.
Yeah.
Because I guess that's also another mom guilt. I'll save it for the next time. Save it for the next episode. Remind me. But I don't experience ADHD, so I don't know where that is for him and how that affects him severely. I have bad anxiety, so I understand how that plays into life. But, the kid is all over the place. Like he got in the car and didn't have shoes on. And I'm like, bro, we're going to school. Where are your sneakers? I mean, good job grabbing your backpack, but you forgot sneakers. So when
the amount of times we've done that.
And I used to be like, do you not listen? And I'm like, oh my God, that is such a mean thing to say. I think he's trying. He just like cannot.
Oh yeah. Harv will get out of the car at his school and I'll just stand there because I can see it happening. And he'll be like 3 feet away from the car. And I'm like, bro, what are we missing? And he's like, my backpack.
Seriously.
The one thing you need.
I'll be like, brush your teeth, wash your face, do your hair. And then he comes downstairs and I'm like,
too many orders.
That is, So once I've learned that majorly. Yeah. Like, I have to talk it down totally. Like Amaya, I can shoot her off 900 things in a row and she can get them all done. And I've just learned with Miles that it's like, you can't do that. I give him 2 things. I'm like, hey, when you clean your room, just pick up the mats and the stuffed animals first. And then I go back up and I'm like, hey, and now we do the race cars. And then we can successfully clean his room. So it's definitely been a big learning. I can't just be like, clean your room.
Yeah. That's huge that you've learned that without even experiencing.
Yeah. He'll sit in his room in panic and I'll go up there and he's like, I didn't know what to do. And I'm like, okay, so we're going to do sections or we're going to do cars. And
learning how to break down an overwhelming task. Is like one of the best things you can teach these kids.
Cool. That's what I've been trying to do. And that seems to be totally working. And then he does go to therapy. which has been extremely helpful, I think, for his little emotional regulation. And he's really empathetic and he feels everything. And he was crying when he came home from school yesterday. And I was like, are you okay? I thought it was about his hair or something, you know? And he said that they were talking about this bus program. It's not in Humboldt, but they were talking about a special needs sensory friendly school bus that some school in the state, I don't know what it was exactly. And he said he was crying because then Ellie could have a chance to ride the bus. And it was just so precious. And I was like, oh my God, my heart, this is so cute. So he definitely just feels.
Yeah.
And then his anxiety is bad about Ellie. He's always like screaming at me, like her window will roll down and he's like, Mom. I'm like, I know, honey, I'm right here. Like I'm super aware of what's happening, but he feels very responsible for her.
That too.
And it makes me really fucking sad. But how do you tell him?
Right.
I'll be like, hey, I got Ellie. Don't worry, buddy. I got her. She'll be like sitting crazy at the bar. And he's like, Mom, Ellie. I'm like, I know, sweet pea.
Yeah.
I got it. I got her.
Right.
So that's been a big challenge.
Yep.
With his anxiety, I think.
Yep.
Like that.
Should we go into Ellie?
So yeah, now we'll get into little sister. Let's start this with the order we got diagnosed for things. That's how I think we should do this. So autism, first and foremost, that is right now our biggest umbrella of symptoms, I guess. I don't really know how to phrase that.
Yeah.
So we're going to start with the autism. When Ellie was really little, I think around a year. I knew all the dates last time we talked, and now I don't remember any of the timelines really.
You'll make me look better because I don't know. I don't have dates.
I know that she was saying keys and mama when she was around 1, and then her words, they just stopped. They just went away, and I was like, oh, that's a little odd. Again, I don't think I would have noticed if she was my first child. She luckily was my third child, so everything was caught extremely early, which I'm extremely grateful for that. That's like a big part of our success, I feel like, with her. Yeah. So I just noticed that everything was just kind of delayed. She was not speaking. She wasn't pointing at stuff. You know, I could be like at that age, Miles, grab your blankie. And Ellie would just blank stare, basically, not understanding.
Yeah.
So I started to do a little research, and I have a girlfriend too, and her mom worked in the special needs world for like 20 years. And she was like, oh, look into a developmental delay. That could be it. And I was like, never heard of that. Oh, we probably have a speech delay, or maybe this developmental delay, nothing big, you can overcome it, therapy, blah, blah, blah. You just always think, you know, like, not my kid.
Oh, yes.
I mean, and not in like, you just never think it's going to happen to you in your life, honestly. Yeah. You just don't. I don't know, and not in like a negative way or anything, but it's just something I guess you don't think is going to be your world and your forever. And so I took her to the doctor, and he was just like, so, okay, we'll get her assessed for a delay in a speech development and also autism, but we're just going to throw that in there. And I was like, okay, cool. And then I got to the car and I was just like, oh, motherfucker. We're autistic. I know it. And then I just had a mental breakdown.
Yeah.
Mental breakdown. She was just sitting back in the car with her iPad. I was just crying hysterically, like couldn't drive. I sat in the parking lot of Redwood Pediatrics for seriously a half an hour. And I text Blake and I'm like, she's autistic. He was like, dude, I love you. Calm down. He's like, get the results first before you panic, you know?
Right.
And I was like, nope. I sat in the car and scrolled. I'm like, she has every symptom. Like I feel it in my core.
Yeah.
So after I calmed down enough to like drive myself home, I immediately was harassing for the assessment to get like paperwork to go through so we could get her assessed.
Yeah.
So by the time she was 22 months, we had that autism diagnosis.
Wow.
Everything went smooth. She had a cancellation. I wasn't working. Went up there, did the 3-hour assessment or whatever. And I just instantly freaking knew. And she was like, we're going to get a diagnosis. And I was like, okay. Like I knew it and I felt it. And she's like, I will message you. We'll Zoom in a couple of days and go over some things. She's like, I just want you to be ready that I do see something here. And I was like, okay, we see something here.
Right.
I don't know what that means exactly. Could be the delay. And then I got the Zoom and I was just so anxious for it. And then, you know, she's definitely on the spectrum. This is the stuff I saw. And I just couldn't even speak. And she was like, are you okay? And I was like, nope. And then I just started bawling.
Oh, yeah.
And she's amazing, Dr. Kissinger.
oh, yeah. Love her.
She was like, I'm going to email you just like a ton of resources and information about the diagnosis. And, I don't feel like this is an error. I feel very strongly that we're correct here. And so I went into an instant mourning period. And when I was waiting for the results too, I'll never forget, one of my sisters, she dropped off at the house this knit blanket and a bottle of wine and some pajamas. And like my other sister sent me flowers. And I think we all knew.
Gosh, that's amazing.
We all knew I was a mess. But I told my family immediately. We have a family group text. And I was like, doctor just dropped this bomb. I totally think he's right. I think she's autistic. We're getting the assessments. And then, during the assessments, they take her into a room without me. And I could just hear her. And I was just sitting in there crying in the office. And I was just like, oh, wow, this is going exactly how I knew it was going to go in my head. I think we just are fucked. And I don't mean that to sound horrible, but in the moment, I was just like,
oh, yeah.
here we go. I don't know what all this entails, but like, we're fucking special needs family. I just knew it. I knew it in my gut.
Yeah.
And like I said, 2 days later, luckily was all we had to wait. Got her results immediately.
Well, I think as moms, that instant we're mourning the future that isn't anymore. And also what the fuck is in my future. But also what I'm getting at is we, especially you and me, and I think a lot of other special needs moms, just take action.
Yep.
And it's like, we don't know what we're taking action in, but one foot is going in front of the other.
I'm kind of dying because that's exactly what I did next. I started heavily mourning this period. And I remember like texting my family immediately and just being like, she's autistic. And then everyone's like, I'm so sorry. And now I don't like that. And I don't use that when people tell me we got a new diagnosis. And now I've learned to not be like, I'm sorry, because it's almost like a nail in the coffin. Don't feel sorry for us, but thank you for loving us and giving us emotion. I don't know. It's a weird thing about I'm sorry.
Right. Because no matter what, we love our children exactly as they are.
Yes. And so I started
But also we know that this is going to bring on struggles for them that we wish they didn't have to experience. And that's kind of what the mourning process is. And I'm sure that's where the I'm sorry was coming from. Not like for you and what this means for you, but like what this means for her,
Yeah, that makes a lot of
because
sense.
none of us want our children to struggle. And there's this sanitizing process of this whole special needs community where we're not allowed to talk about mourning because it's like, we're not allowed to talk about the grieving part of it because it's like, oh, we're wishing our kids were different. No, we're not wishing our kids were different, but they're going to struggle.
And
then when our
sad.
kids struggle, we struggle and we want to take the pain away from them and we can't. So it's so real.
I feel like I was trying not to get emotional, but it's going to happen.
Oh, we knew.
I mourned fucking hard. And that was it. Like, I couldn't stop crying. On the drive home after that assessment, I could not stop crying. The 2 days before we got the results back, I freaking cried nonstop. I knew it in my bones. And I couldn't understand or describe what I was feeling at the time because I didn't know who to speak to or anyone who'd been with it. It's like, oh, I have a friend of a friend who's gone through this. And at that moment, I didn't know. And then I felt like a guilty asshole.
Right. Because no one says what you're supposed to feel or what's okay to feel.
So I got that diagnosis officially and I was like, whew, okay, what am I going to do? And then I just immediately started researching, put your toys in certain bins and containers and put pictures on everything. That's what I did. Fucking ripped out my toy room, went to the store, spent $1 billion at Target, made pictures of the stuff that was in bins to teach her to knock to open because we didn't have words, all that stuff. But I was trying to go into action, but I couldn't even like shower and wash my hair.
Right.
I'd like get in there and cry for 40 minutes hysterically. And I'd be like, did I wash my hair? I don't super know. But I was embarrassed. And I'll never, we like to host friends over and have dinner parties.
Embarrassed about
how I was feeling, how I was so emotional.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't embarrassed that I had a special needs kid, but I was mourning. But I didn't know I was in mourning. That's the kicker, you guys.
Yeah.
I didn't know I was mourning. I didn't know how I was supposed to feel. I felt embarrassed that I was just like a blubbering mess.
Right.
So I'll never forget, we had 2 nights in a row that we had had dinner planned for a long time in advance. And my friends came over, and we're not super close with them now, but I feel like I will always have that little connection with them. You know, like nothing happened. We just kind of, they have 3 kids, we have kids.
Yeah.
But they were really close to us at that point in life. And they were so supportive. And I remember sitting at the dining room table, and Blake was having a hard time even mentioning it really or talking about it. Like he didn't know what to say or do. Honestly, we didn't know what the fuck to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Didn't know what to say, didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
And I just remember my girlfriend just hugged me so big and tight. And I was just like, oh my God, I needed a hug, man.
Yeah.
So
the
we,
kind of hug that you crumble into
yes.
them. Yeah.
And so then like the boys got up and sat in the living room, and I feel like it was just what Blake needed. It wasn't discussed. They were cocktailing. Me and my girlfriend sat a little bit and went over a few things, and I felt like a sense of relief. You know, I was like, oh, okay, I can talk about it, and I'm crying when I talk about it, but it felt good to say it out loud.
Yeah.
This was like this dinner was the night after we got the diagnosis.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the next night we had dinner again with someone I'm still really, really close with. And she does not cry ever. And I'll never forget when we were talking about it. And I was going into it that night, and she was just silent crying. And then I was just sobbing like a psychopath. But I just realized then that it is a big deal. And I was just feeling like for some reason I should just accept this and just, what are we going to do next? It's all good. We have autism.
Right.
It's just life.
Yeah.
But in reality
no,
of
it changes everything.
it is such a life-shattering, life-changing, like our whole world is different from that one diagnosis. And you don't think that's going to happen, I guess?
Well, no, it comes from a place of wanting to support them as much as we can. That's why it's life-changing and life-shattering. We're literally saying goodbye to the life we had because we want to support our children. I will change my entire toy room if it helps her.
We used to invite,
we can do.
It wasn't unusual for us to have 20 people over for dinner.
Yeah.
And then after we got this diagnosis, it was barely had humans over because Ellie, we realized it's not just a toddler tantrum or anything. She really actually cannot handle our lifestyle.
Right.
We used to travel all the freaking time. No problem. Blake was working in Boston, pack the suitcases. The kids and I would literally jam, meet in there for a weekend. Like that all changed dramatically all of a sudden. And so I was heavily mourning a change in our lifestyle that had to happen. And then I was mourning, not all kids play sports. So, you know, but Amaya, we were a sports family. I was just mourning that.
Just the possibilities.
Yeah, that her possibilities are different. So then I started doing all the therapies and all this stuff to get into that, you know?
Oh, yeah.
So then we put her in a special needs preschool, which was the total right thing to do. And then her teacher came up to me one day and was like, so I don't know if you know anything about epilepsy, and I'm no doctor or specialist, but I think she's having absent seizures. And this was before she was 3 years old.
That came from a teacher?
Yeah. I wouldn't have probably, honestly, I don't think I would have noticed for a solid year probably before I noticed. And well, because, you know, she likes to hide. She's not in front of me all day long.
Oh, no, totally.
And
like,
so
I understand
that's why the doctors,
exactly why
the doctors are like, how many does she have all day? And I'm like, I don't know. She's in her room sometimes for 6 hours straight and I don't see her. So she could have 28
She's
or
in her
0.
happy place.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So
I just think it's really cool that there was a teacher paying attention to that.
Her teacher was like, okay. And I was like, oh my God. I just felt like we were so in the right place, you know, in life, everything. And that's what I keep telling you. I just feel our journey, we were blessed with all the right humans.
Yep.
For where we're at in life. We got really freaking lucky.
Yeah.
But her, you know, her teacher was like, I think she might have absent seizures. I don't know if you know about it. And I was just like, oh, thank you. And then I got in the car. I smiled and I was like, thank you so much. And I got in the car and I was like, what the fuck? I literally was just, what the fuck? No. What the? No. Oh. And then I started really paying attention and I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
I think she has absent seizures, man.
Right. Do you think that you were still in a grieving process? Like,
yes.
So there's
still in a half grieving process.
I think that's forever. But I mean with the haze, like that kind of depressive
100%
haze
was because we had just started this preschool, which was specifically for special needs. Everything happened fast.
Yeah.
She got her diagnosis within 2 months of us even going to the doctor and getting referred. It was a freak cancellation. I took it. She had another cancellation, so we got the results back super early. I harass everybody a lot, so they just push my stuff through. So RCRC, we got hooked up at the preschool. They had a time slot. I worked it out. Everything fell into place. So within 3 months, she was diagnosed and in her special needs preschool. It happened boom, boom, boom.
Wow.
So I was still
What is this new life?
in a huge haze of barely being able to focus or speak words, basically.
Yeah.
We're in this preschool. The teacher hits me with this, and I'm just, this is almost a joke, right? This is kind of a sick fucking joke.
Right.
I get her immediately into the doctor's. He sends a referral. She immediately gets into UCSF. I don't work.
Yeah. Yeah. You
Literally
couldn't be flexible.
Took a cancellation appointment. We were down in Frisco. She was diagnosed within 2 months. Within 2 months, we had the referral into UCSF and we had the first appointment done. And
Which
she was
is
diagnosed.
actually incredible for where we live
Oh.
because healthcare is so hard.
Months.
It takes so long.
Miles just took 6 months to get into an ankle specialist.
Oh my gosh.
Like I said, I feel like our journey is such a piece of fucking cake.
Right.
Our diagnosis story.
Yeah,
It's literally a rare unicorn. I feel like it's a unicorn in this world.
Yeah.
Of how we did things. The school had an opening. If we hadn't have been there, I would not have caught the epilepsy for a long time.
Right.
We went down there, did the first appointment and assessment. Driving home, they had called in her first medication. It was just,
Yeah.
everything worked so quickly. So we were,
But still, on the flip side of that, so you had this unicorn diagnosis experience that happened really fast. But on the flip side, you also didn't have any time to process
that's what I was just
anything.
saying.
Yeah.
I was, all of a sudden, within seriously a 4-month period, we had an autism diagnosis and an epilepsy diagnosis. And it was just, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah.
Is this real life? And then whenever she had been messaging me, she was like, or when we did the Zoom with the doctor, you know, they're like, come in when you're 3 years old. That's when you get your official autism diagnosis. So everything's just dandy. We're just puttering along and I'm dying. We weren't puttering. I was like slothing through life, you know?
Yeah.
I was in this huge grieving mist that never lifted. I was alone. Not alone. I had my husband, but it's hard when you're both drowning, you know, to try to rely on each other. I'm going to tell him all my shit and it's just going to sink his ass.
Yeah.
You're just all trying to survive, you know?
Yeah.
So that was super just rough. I was alone. I felt like my husband was supportive, like I said, but I didn't know anyone who had went through any of this. So the 3-year mark starts rolling around. We do the assessment. We get the, you know, the official autism diagnosis. And she was like, I just have to tell you, out of the 15 or 20 years I've been doing this, she got such low scores on some. I want you to come back when she's around the age of 5 because I want to do some more testing. And I was like,
Wait, how old was she?
she was 3.
3.
It was
And this is Dr. Kissinger.
yes.
Okay.
And she was like, I want you to
So you
come
had to
back.
wait 2 years with that?
Yes. That was for
Oh.
that intellectual disability.
Oh, I knew
testing.
exactly where you were
I
going.
did not know where any of this was going.
I wouldn't have, but now I do.
I was like, okay, cool.
yeah.
Great. So I literally took her from that 3-year-old appointment when we got the assessment and she told me that. Went, had a margarita, ate some Mexican food, went home
Yep.
and I was like, Blick, this is what happened. She got her diagnosis, which we were expecting, but it's not official until they're 3.
Yeah.
Like I said, she was the young diagnosis. And then we just went about our lives. She was eating everything in sight. So we got a pica diagnosis.
Oh.
Pica, I don't really know how you say it. It's when you eat all the things. So she will swallow. Still to this day. The other day, she was running around with a cotton ball and I was like, you spit that out. She did not, in fact, spit it out.
Oh. Oh, poor baby.
I'm always checking her poop. It sucks. Anyways.
Oh, the poop.
So we have the autism and then the epilepsy diagnosis. We got the pica, which is basically nothing. Just you eat things. Be careful. At school still, she's pooping out crayons for 3 weeks. I'm like, did no one watch her today? Did she eat crayons at school today?
Yeah.
She clearly did.
Oh.
So when she's around 4.5, I go through RCRC and I'm like, hey, Kissinger wanted to see her back at the age around 5. We need to set up an appointment. And they were like, this is kind of unusual. I'm not sure if you're correct. And I was like, no, I'm correct.
Oh my
Do I need to call
God.
Kissinger's office? Because they told me to go through you guys. And I know what I was told. And they were like, hold please. And I was like, yep. Didn't hear back the next morning. I was like, did you guys get a hold of her yet? I need to set up that appointment. They finally did. They emailed me 2 days later and was like, okay, this isn't super common. We're going to pay for it. Blah, blah, blah. Kissinger, call them and set up your appointment. I set it up. We get up there, do the assessment. I don't know what I was expecting. I don't even know what we were really there for. It's like, okay, maybe they're just going to tell me that she's severe or moderate. Is that a thing? Maybe that's what's happening. We're like deep on the spectrum, you know?
Right.
We're deep in the dark colors over here.
Right.
We're not in the yellow.
We're not pastel.
Yeah.
We're earth tones.
And so we did the assessment and it was another 2-hour assessment. And still I didn't ask the questions. It was my fault. I wasn't like, what are we doing exactly? You know? So then I was just kind of oblivious on purpose, I guess. Aloof.
Not on
I
purpose.
don't
It
know.
was your coping mechanism, like to protect yourself.
Yeah. So I get in there. They do the assessment. She brings me into the little back room like she does every time. She looks at me and she puts her hand on my knee. And she was like, I just have to tell you what I'm going to give her. And I don't know what degree yet because intellectual disability has mild, moderate, and severe. It's a high percentage to have mild, but when you get into moderate, it's a little more rare. Severe is way less percentage of humans are that.
Mm-hmm.
So she's like, I'll never forget. I was like, okay, what could be worse than the autism diagnosis, you know? I literally had no idea. No idea. And she was like, I'm going to give her intellectual disability diagnosis. And I was like, cool. Literally was my response. Cool. What other therapies do I need to do?
Oh my
I
gosh.
just went into that mode. And
Yeah,
she
yeah,
literally
yeah.
looked at me and she was like, I'm so sorry. I don't think you're understanding what I'm saying. And I was like, huh? What? And she was just like, I think it's going to be moderate. And she was like, she was like, I hate using this phrase because we don't use it anymore, but intellectual disability used to be called mental retardation, used to be the actual medical term for it. And I literally was just like, oh shit. Oh my God. I was not, and I was like, okay. And I was crying a little bit. And then I literally couldn't leave the parking lot for almost a full hour. I was having a full blown hyperventilation. I was fucking blindsided. And I just kept looking at Ellie and I was just crying so hard. And I was like, dude, where's this
What
come
does this
from?
mean?
What?
Yeah.
I had no idea what it meant.
Well, and then obviously it doesn't help that we grew up in the 90s and early 2000s when
You could
retarded was
like, oh, you're such
a
a
slur.
yes. Oh, you're being such a retard.
Right.
It was like people said that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then when she said, oh, they used to call it mental retardation, I was like, this is a thing. I literally was so blindsided. So right when I feel like I was still mourning that stuff, but I was able to live with that grief, there's a saying that I love, and it's, your grief is like a backpack and we wear it and it's never going to get lighter, but your legs are going to get stronger. I use that a lot in life. And so I feel like I was just starting to get some muscle built up, and then 20 more rocks got thrown in my backpack and I was just a fucking puddle.
Yeah.
But that was the hardest. I thought the autism diagnosis was hard, but that fucking killed us both.
So what have you learned so far? Like what made that so hard? Because a lot of people might not understand like
well, I have to throw this
some
in
of
there
the
too.
differences.
I have to backtrack just a tad so you guys know my mental state fully. During all of this, right before this diagnosis we got, the epilepsy specialist ordered an MRI for Ellie's brain, right? And then we learned that she has cysts or benign tumors, I'm not really sure, super deep in a part of her brain, right? So we got hit with all of this new epilepsy. We were deep in the epilepsy journey at this point when this came up. And I was just, I
So
think
you didn't even really have the answers for the
No.
epilepsy stuff yet.
and so it was just like I said,
oh my gosh.
we got hit so fast within a year and a half or 2 years. It was just
wow.
autism, epilepsy. Oh, she's got some sister tumors. And then we have intellectual disability.
Wow.
So intellectual disability, and she has moderate. And we keep trying to maybe challenge that. And everyone's telling us no. So when you have moderate, like the statistics are, you're basically going to be on average, which we can all overcome the average, but 6 to 9 years old, your brain is basically going to be matured right there. So Ellie's 6 right now, but she's 3 from autism.
Yeah.
So what the fuck does this look like?
right.
So that was my thing. I'm like, well, her brain does have an expiration date at some point. She may overcome all this, but like 6 to 9. So we're hoping we're going to overcome all the odds. So maybe we're going to be 12 forever.
Right.
But then she's autistic and super behind at life there. So
Right.
I feel like I am always in this wave of, I just had this big epiphany moment a while ago. I was at a mom's retreat and we were doing this big deep dive therapy. And I realized I always think there's going to be a day where I overcome this grief and climb out of it. And then I realized, I don't care how cliche this is, but it's literally like an ocean. And some days I'm going to be riding this grief wave. And then some days it's going to be great and we're going to be calm and good. But I don't ever think it's going away. My friends have a lot of kids Ellie's age. They're all several months apart, 6 months apart. And, you know, even just the other day, I saw them all at a birthday party. And it's like, you know, she's their age and they're all my friends and they're all doing all these things with their kids all the time. And it's not that we're left out, but she can't do them. And so they're having these little special birthday parties with their friends and doing things. And it's like, Ellie's basically playing with their little brothers, you know? And that's the hardest part.
Yeah.
I feel like the grief shows up. Like I said, we're like 4 years deep in this.
Right. Right.
And the grief is such a heavy part of the diagnosis journey. And I don't know if that goes away.
Right. For the most part, I think it's really what they might be missing out on.
Yes. And you know, that's what I always say, this is fucked up. This is fucked up. So like we said, we don't judge here. But I almost don't even want to say it, but I'm just going to say it. I feel like Ellie doesn't understand. And I almost feel a sense of relief that she doesn't feel left out
Yes.
for the most part.
Yes.
I'm not saying like she can't communicate it. So I'm sure it makes her sad and upset at school that no one wants to play with her.
Right.
She doesn't know how to initiate things. She wants
Right.
to play with someone sometimes and they don't, and she will shove them. Like she wants to play. Every human craves that connection.
Oh, 100%.
and
yeah.
she just can't communicate it. But
Yeah.
she is not fully aware that she's not aware that she's missing out on friends' birthday parties. And
Right. Well, she's blissfully
She's-
happy
she's
playing with the little brothers.
She is blissfully
Yeah.
unaware. And
Yeah.
that is one thing that helps me get through things is
Mhm.
that
You
she's
see her
blissfully
happy.
unaware.
Yeah.
And the goal in life with all of these diagnoses and things is I work my ass off to make sure she can live her happiest, most beautiful life.
Right.
So that's the goal. With the beauty of having a diagnosis, I'm really good about, we got this diagnosis, let's kick ass here and do this here so we can have this outcome. So
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I had some things written down that I wanted to ask you. So, okay, the assessment process we know is long.
Yep.
And it's like a lot of questions about basically all their shortcomings.
yeah, I cry every time we have assessments or get
Oh,
new team members.
them.
I go through a depressive
Yeah.
funk every
Yeah.
time we start a new service or
Yes.
having to go through assessments again. I'm like, yep, this is my daughter. Oh, she functions as an 18-month-old in communication. Fucking cool. She's 6.
Right.
That grief just fucking.
So what is the hardest part? Is it like filling out the paperwork ahead of time? Is it actually being in the doctor's
So-
presence and watching them interact?
Well, so you get your assessments done and diagnosis, but schools don't recognize those diagnoses and they can't take them. So Ellie had to get all these assessments done before, when she entered school. And I was like, cool. I just want to be told again all this stuff about
that we already know.
my
Yeah.
freaking kid that we already know. But the intellectual disability, you only get to do that once a year. It's an IQ test. It's only once a year. So the school had to shut up and take that. Just that,
That's good.
without that assessment
Yeah.
happening. But I don't know what it is. But every time we do assessments, I literally go through a deep depression phase. And I think it is. It's easy to block things out in the day-to-day life. It's when you think of the future and see everything in a whole is when I get really depressed about things.
Yeah.
I can flitter in the day-to-day pretty well. I bounce
Yeah.
back pretty well. So one day I'm crying. One day I'm like, this is the best day ever. She's so easy today.
Yeah.
And then the next day I'm like, we shit everywhere. And I don't know what to do. But I feel like I'm a see the big picture, prepare for the future. Ellie has taught me to live day to day.
Mm-hmm.
And my plans go to shit all the time.
Yeah.
That's how we survive it. I feel like the assessment process makes me see the future and see the past, and it's somewhere it's too heavy to go all the time.
Oh, it's so hard.
And
Yeah.
I just don't like to have to explain to everyone. And I'm like, well, I already know what this is going to come back as. So I don't really want to go over the results. I know where we're at, man.
Yeah.
Don't set me in another spiral. Let me just forget it.
Right.
So the assessment process to me is always super depressing and majorly throws me into the heavy grief cycle every time, no
Yeah.
matter what.
Yes.
I'm working with a great company called Start. They're 5 years-ish in Humboldt. They're pretty new. But we are writing up a plan for Ellie, which is super cool. And it is just like all about her levels, where she's at, how she communicates. And so now when we have a new teammate, new teacher, I can just hand them that. And I don't have to be like, I forgot to
Wow.
tell you, this is how she communicates in movie quotes. Or this is, I was
That's
just like,
amazing.
why has no one taught me this before?
Yeah.
It makes me feel a little more relieved and not so daunting going into the next assessment that I can hand them that to help a little bit.
Yeah.
'Cause
That's huge.
Rehashing it all, like I said, we're 4 years into this with official diagnosis,
Yeah.
and it
Yeah.
doesn't get easier. I just cried again. I've told the story 80 times.
Right.
It doesn't get easier.
Okay. So you and I are really, I think, pretty blessed in the area of support.
Yep. 100%.
So when you said you're really close with your family. So when you told them the news and then you came out of that, like, how were you feeling after that once you were by yourself again?
Honestly, I feel like my family totally, they got it, but like they didn't get it because you don't ever really get it.
Mm-hmm.
But they all try.
Yeah.
Like when we go to my sister's for Easter per se, no one cares. We stick Ellie in a bedroom with an iPad and just like no one bothers her. Everyone knows she's not going to join probably. She may come out naked. We don't know.
Yeah.
But they all try to, like my mom, she's been trying to keep Ellie at her house sometimes overnight, which is like a huge deal. And
Yeah.
she literally was just like, hey, send me the link to those Amazon door locks that you have so I can put those on my house for when Ellie's here.
Oh.
And so I feel very supported.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
when I told them, for example, the other day, I was like, I think we're going to homeschool her. And my dad was like, great idea. I love that you're doing that. Why are
Aw.
you doing that? I think it's great. Blah, blah, blah. Just
Yeah.
no judgment. There's never been any questioning. There's never been like, well, all kids do that.
Mm-hmm.
And they weren't raised that way.
Right.
They were raised in that generation of special needs doesn't really exist.
Yeah.
Discipline your kids.
Right.
And my whole family is very, what
Yeah.
can we do to have Ellie here? What does she need to have happen? What does she like to eat when we have this family dinner?
Yeah.
Everybody is just,
Yeah.
I'll send them pictures. I'm like, I'm just fucking depressed. I've been crying all day. There's shit everywhere. Ellie won't go to school.
Yeah.
And they all are just like, cool, great. Tell us about your day. How are you doing today?
Yeah.
Everyone is just very,
So that helped with the isolation a little
Yep.
bit.
I mean, it's helpful.
Yeah.
But I didn't feel fully isolated until I met other special needs moms.
Mm.
And I don't mean to diminish, I don't want to diminish anyone's relationships with me. I have a really close girlfriend, several of them, and they are so, how was Ellie today? I'm so sorry. I know this is going on. How are you feeling? I love you. I'm here for you. But I still feel isolated. But there's something about a special needs mom friend.
Right.
I have this one special needs mom friend, and she'll text me sometimes and just be like, so I probably shouldn't say this out loud. And I'm like, damn it, I love you.
Yeah. Yep.
There's just something about,
Usually it's like, same.
yes, people do try. I'm so blessed with everyone in our lives. Everyone tries really hard to understand, get on board. Hey, do you want to come camping? I'll find somewhere for my dogs to go. So Ellie's, but I feel like I always feel isolated, and it's not their fault. They're trying. It's just you.
Right.
You don't feel this shit unless you're living it.
Well, that's something to get used to, I think, is being in a sea of support and still feeling like you're alone on your island.
I feel like that all the time.
Yeah.
And I feel like my friends try so hard. And I even have some friends that basically came out of the WordWorks almost and surprised me with how supportive and great they are. And they're trying so hard, but like, you don't feel it unless you're living it.
Yeah.
And that's why I like to collect special needs moms friends, because there's just something about being, and all of our journeys are so different.
Right.
And everyone's, like my one girlfriend that I find a lot of solace in, her daughter has a lot of medical issues on top of the special needs world, but she has a lot of medical stuff she deals with, but she just gets it.
Yeah.
She gets it. She's like, I don't want to do shit today. I want to cancel everything, all the therapies, fuck it. And I'm like, you're right.
Right.
Fuck it.
Yeah.
We're on a forever journey here. This isn't temporary.
Yeah.
So I definitely felt alone until I found a group of special needs women. And there's just so much solace in that. And
that's kind of why we're here, because we didn't have that for a long time.
Yep.
So if someone is feeling alone, hopefully they hear us.
someone needs to tell me it's okay to grieve.
Oh, right.
Like, it's okay to feel all these things. You shouldn't feel ashamed.
Right.
I think everyone goes through this period or for life. We're just living in it.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Well, you're doing it. You're doing it, Sadie.
We're doing it.
So we're going to tell Ada's journey.
Yep.
It'll be the next episode. But we're not actually moving from here.
We're just going to do part 2 in a second. So
Yes.
we're going to refill these.
Yes. So let's do
Weird
our, hashtag weird win.
Hashtag weird win.
Yay!
I have a weird freaking win. We got this new ABA therapist added to our team. Bless her heart. She is so sweet. But Ellie will definitely run the show if someone's not authoritative enough. It was her first solo session, and I can hear them upstairs in Miles' room, and I hear her, Ellie. And then I hear Miles screaming, and I'm like, oh, I gotta step in, son of a bitch. I go upstairs. Poor Miles is laying on the floor, and Ellie's on top of him, and she's literally ripping his eyelids with both hands. And I'm like, get off your brother! Get off your brother! Anyways, I'm like, you're gonna rip his eyes out, and you're gonna hurt his eyes, Ellie. And then she starts crying hysterically, and she's like, buy new ones. And then she's pointing to my phone like I can order them. So my weird win is that she's learning that we can buy things and do things. Or she also said, go to doctor. So
Oh, there we go.
I felt like,
Well, and she wanted to fix it.
yes. And so that was my weird win.
Yes.
She was like, not just like, well, whatever, I heard maybe, and I'm just going to go about my day. She realized, okay, he can go to the doctor, or I can buy new ones and we can fix the situation.
Yeah.
And that was a super big,
That's huge.
it was a big deal. So anyways, that's my weird win.
Love it. Okay, my weird win. Well, Ada's older brother does soccer and has. And so like for years and years and years. So Ada wants to do soccer. And Mom always coaches older brother. And so in Ada's mind, Mom coaches. So there's not really any doing soccer for Ada without me coaching. So I feel really, really lucky this year. I got teamed up with our mutual friend who is like,
A badass.
Yes. And
She's a badass.
She totally has everything under control where I can step away when Ada needs me. But Ada is really, really struggling out there, like 90% of the time, to the point where, we always try to like make everyone else in the world disappear when our kids are struggling because their opinions don't matter in those moments. It's not helpful.
Yeah, you just go into that bubble of protection.
I mean, right, we try to, but I can't help but think to myself, like, gosh, all these parents are probably wondering why I forced my kid into soccer, not realizing that it was her choice.
Yeah.
So I'm out there trying to celebrate every little win that she has and also trying to combat the
small wins are all we have in life.
Well, yeah. And then the turmoil of, what this probably looks like. And then how is it affecting the other kids too? Their playtime is different on the field, anyway. But the weird win part is last night she was out there doing all the things. And like she had her little struggles here and there, but she was doing the things. And it was like, we wouldn't have gotten there. And of course, it won't go like that every time.
Nope, but you freaking got it.
Right.
One night.
That was huge because we wouldn't have gotten there if we hadn't stuck with it last year and this year. And so she's learning the art of a team sport. And we're in this really, really supportive community while we're doing it. And so I'm having a lot of conflicting thoughts about it. So that's why it feels kind of weird to me. But at the end of the day, it's a huge win for her.
She's playing freaking soccer on the team. Which is...
Yes. Go, Ada.
Which is unreal.
Yes, we're doing it. So
You're doing it.
All right.
It's a great weird win.
Well, cheers to another episode of Mildly Thriving.
Please try to play along with us. We'd love to see your hashtag weird wins, hashtag mom guilt bingo. We will be reading everything and going through stuff, and we're super excited. So.
Yeah. Thank you.
Cheers.